This is an introduction to cross-hatching using our pens found in your art kit. The first thing we had done already was to create a list of the pens that you have. So whatever pens you have available in your kit, possibly also some pens that you may find around the house, any kind of writing pens are also acceptable. So I have my 4 pens listed here. Each of these are here. And what I want to do is create my rectangle for cross-hatching. This is an example of the end result. So here's my list with different pens, and we're going to create a rectangle showing light to dark values with cross-hatching technique. So we're going to start off with the rectangle. You can choose to do the ruler technique, which includes the measurements of 4 inches wide by 1.5 inches tall, approximately. The previous video also explains how to use either a piece of notebook paper or printer paper, how to fold them to create a rectangle as well. So you have 3 options. I'm going to take my notebook paper and my pencil, and underneath my list of pens, I'm going to put my rectangle. Make sure to see the previous video, Introduction to Pens, if you need assistance with the rectangle. And I'm going to label it with the title at the bottom. We know hatching is single lines, whereas cross-hatching is multiple lines crossed in different directions. On the left, I'm going to write the word light in a vertical manner, and on the right, I'm going to write the word dark. Please do that also. So we want to create a value scale like this, from light to dark. You can see that fewer lines spaced farther apart will equal a lighter value. You can see in the medium area, medium tones, more layers of pen, closer together. And then by the time you get towards the dark end, many, many lines very close together, layered upon each other, will achieve a darker tone. So this is our goal. I'm going to have you choose your lightest pen, whatever you perceive to be your light one. I'm going to go with my B-ball. And if you're right-handed or left-handed, you may shift your paper according to what feels comfortable. So I'm going to start off with my lines spaced apart, and I am going to go all the way across, because we're building layers and we don't want divisions. We want as smooth a flow from light to dark as possible. So a single line is hatching. Now I'm going to cross hatch it because I'm adding another layer and going in a cross direction. Notice I'm using kind of the flick of my wrist. Yes, I will go outside the box. It's okay. It's not a zigzag. It's a single line. So every time, let me go vertically up and down. Every time I make a mark, I lift my pen off the page. Notice it's a quick movement. I'm not drawing these lines carefully. So if I want to keep this end light, I'm not going to do any more. That was only 3 layers, because if I do any more, it's going to get darker. And here's the thing, I know this might be intimidating, but to build your confidence, there's no erasing. This is pen. So you could practice. I did have a practice sheet when I was starting off, just to show you if you want to grab a piece of paper and just give it a try first, just to, again, build your confidence and try it out. Especially if you've never done this before. This might be something brand new to you. So I'm going to start here adding more layers. Maybe closer together. Changing direction. But yeah, I go all the way across. I'm not trying to section it. Maybe I'll go horizontal. It does help if you change directions. It does just look, it just looks better. So you're just starting to see a difference between my light area and my medium to dark area. If I were to start here and adding a couple extra layers just towards the darker end, you're going to start to see it build up even more. Although I am using a light pen. So I will switch pens as well. But the more you add, the darker it gets. Kind of follows that logic. So you can just now start to see I'm getting a little bit darker down here. Again, don't touch this once you've done a few layers. Stop. I think beginning students tend to add more than they realize, and then, oops, they're stuck. So now I'm switching to, it's maybe just a little bit bolder, not too much. I will ask you to use at least 2 different pens for this. 3 is better if you have it, but yeah, definitely complete this with at least 2 pens. I always do at least 3 pens. Perhaps you have more and using 4 makes sense to you. That's fine too. Alright, I want to make sure I'm not creating any sharp divisions between values. So I want to make sure that I'm blending them together. I'm going to switch to my Sharpie to create a little bit bolder on this end. I'm only going to do a little bit over here because I don't want it to be too bold. You can hatch away from you, starting with the pen close to you and swiping away, or you could start with the pen away from you and swipe towards you. Either way is correct. Often I tend to do both. If you see specific little holes that need a little something, you kind of have to, be a detective and kind of investigate and see where it just needs a little bit more. Often I pause like this and kind of push it a little bit farther away from me, just so I'm seeing it at a distance, and then I can see some holes that need a little attention, and I can evaluate it. So I'm going to go a little bolder on this end, which means just more and more and more layers. Lots of lines close together. I'm starting to get a little bit of a division right here. It's very subtle, but I can see it. So I want to make sure I'm not creating blocks of value, but instead of flow. All right, I'm going to evaluate that. I want to do a little here. I feel like it's needs a little overlapping. A little more transition. And I think I can go just a bit darker. I'm not coloring it in. I'm still doing my cross-hatching motion, but I just want that end to get as dark as I can get it. No, that's pretty good. See a hole right there. And I'm pretty happy with that. So your goal is to go from light, fading into a medium, fading into a medium dark, and then a dark. So you can see a flow instead of choppy divisions. We don't want that. Use a variety of pens. Use at least 2 different pens. And then we will learn how to do the cross-hatching on a shape to create a form. So this is what is going to be next with the circles. So stay tuned. See you soon.